Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. This time we're taking a look at Starsiege Deadzone. This is another extraction looter shooter similar to Dark and Darker, Escape from Tarkov, or The Cycle. A growing genre with a lot of cool choices in this particular iteration, and having playtests come out pretty well every weekend, this is a great way to fill the void for many of you that are waiting for the dungeon to return. So I just thought I'd do a quick overview of some of the strengths, limitations, and things that I thought were interesting in terms of the gameplay choices for Starsiege Deadzone. So first off with the strengths, like Dark and Darker, and unlike Tarkov, the load times are quick and you start off right in the action, usually fighting some PvE enemies right away. The gunplay feels really snappy, and if you're looking for a game that's quick to just hop in and play a few rounds, this is great. You don't spend a ton of time building out your kit or getting all equipped, and just like many of these other games, you do get a default kit right away that you can load in and start blasting away on the PvE enemies, and it's not too bad to get geared out. So that's a real strength of kind of a quick pick up and play game with quick load times and snappy gunplay. There's also a decent amount of raid varieties. You can pick a smaller raid if you're looking at getting a little bit of gear before you go into the harder raids with 24 players where you're looking for more PvP action. So you can kind of curate your experience, and it gives newer players a nice way to build up some equipment before they risk it all for more reward. The maps also feature some interesting procedural generation, and there's some really cool nodes that have a lot of detail, and just the way the map regenerates and the way the map also degenerates as it collapses is definitely unique. So it still has that feel of pushing players towards the center and kind of making things feel intense, but it's definitely more thematic than something like the Swarm in Dark and Darker. Now, in terms of limitations, the game definitely feels floaty and slow, partly because of the low gravity and the way you jump in this game, but it can feel a little bit sluggish at time, and even for someone who's played a lot of Dark and Darker, this game feels like you're going through molasses. The balance is also a little bit rough, but once again, it is, very early in the game, and balance changes are being made all the time. So there are some perks, masteries, and abilities right now that are stronger than others, and some that just don't even work. But once again, it's very early on in the game, and this is going to change. But for right now, it can feel a little bit one-dimensional for some choices. And because of some of the design choices right now, the core mechanics of the game in terms of being an extraction looter just don't feel as good as something like Dark and Darker. In Starsiege, it's not quite as exciting to get a bunch of kills and take out all their loot because, quite frankly, players just don't drop anything that's that great. And once you have a few guns in your inventory, you don't really need much money. I mean, you get your full set of armor, you get a few guns and a few meds, and really all you're doing is looting other players for maybe a couple rare pieces of loot, but there's not a ton to do with the money at this point. But once again, that is likely due to the very early nature of the game. But still, at this point, other extraction looters feel a little bit more satisfying when it comes to defeating your enemies and taking all their stuff. Now, in terms of some interesting design choices, there are a few things that Starsiege Deadzone does differently, and I think these are worth mentioning. So, first of all, compared to something like Dark and Darker, Starsiege is a classless system. However, it still has abilities. So unlike something like The Cycle or Tarkov, where everybody's just, a guy, you still have some interesting choices to make in terms of how you want your character to play. So you have 2 active abilities, 4 passive abilities, multiple masteries, and these all give you really cool abilities and ways to play your character, whether you want to be stealthy or fast or tanky, do more damage, clear PvE faster, get more loot, heal better, lots of cool different things going on here. And honestly, even the weapons you take kind of gives you a different role in your party. So whether you have a sniper rifle, an assault rifle, an SMG, or a silenced pistol, or a spin fuser, you have a lot of different ways to play the game, but it is still sort of an arena Halo kind of shooter. And at the end of the day, you're going to shoot people, and that's the playstyle. Another interesting choice is armor isn't currently dropped on death, and it seems like a lot of your character builds come out based on the masteries that you roll randomly whenever you get a piece of armor from the crafters or the merchants. So a big part of the long-term progression is potentially keep re-rolling your armor until you get the perks and passives that you're looking for, which is potentially interesting. It definitely has a unique way of approaching this kind of meta progression across raids, but currently it seems like you can get a full set of armor fairly quickly, and it's not as exciting to get a bunch of money to upgrade your armor. But obviously this is probably because of the current economy being balanced around only being available for the weekend. So this is something that's going to change in the future, but I am really looking forward to seeing how this armor system plays out in the long term. So yeah, Starsiege Deadzone is available on Steam. You can play it. Most weekends have been having a playtest. Definitely worth checking out. The Discord is a great place to go if you're looking for people to play with, and highly recommend it. Thanks for watching.